Hi, I'm Tarrant Hobbs, and I used to be a management consultant for Courage Eastern Brewery on Tower Bridge, and I worked there for 4 years in the late 1970s. And after the second year there, I got so interested in the history of brewing beer and pub life and everything associated with beer that I convinced the board to put some money up so we can create a museum for the public and an old medical centre on Tower Bridge itself, just on the south side. It took a year to transform the old medical centre properly with showcases and everything else, and collecting things from all over the country, not only Courage's. And then we opened early 1980, and the public liked it a lot, and I'd worked with the City of London to combine the museum with all the development work on Tower Bridge for the public to walk across the main span and down in the engine room with the Tower Bridge itself. So we did it in combination. The museum, called the World of Brewing, was open for about 9 months before the main company, which was part of Imperial Tobacco, was taken over by Hanson's, an asset stripper, and the museum was closed down. They could have left it open until the site was rebuilt or they decided what to do, but the asset strippers just wanted to make as much money as they could out of the property. After the museum was shut down, I was allowed to keep the things that general public had donated to me on loan and things I collected myself and people had given me. So several lorry loads of exhibits I took home, and another friendly brewery in London stored some for me, heavy things like barrels, the old wooden barrels and heavy coopering plant and tools and pub signs and things. And so that was the end, sadly, of that site for the museum. I didn't have any finance behind me, so I couldn't find a new site in London because you need millions of pounds. But in the meantime, I've still collected and saved. When pubs or breweries shut down, I asked the owners of the new site or the old companies if there are things they're not going to sell to make money for the company, if they can let me have it rather than throw it into a skip and it's lost. This includes lots of documentation and labels and brewing equipment, even to the maltings where they make malt to make the beer, and hop farms, which used to belong to Courage's. And I managed to save lots and lots of things which you can class now as historic items. The idea behind the World of Brewing was not only to give the history of Courage's, and their brewery had been on the site since the early 17th century, but also to cover the history of brewing in Britain. This was before there was a national museum created in Burton-upon-Trent, and my idea at the time was I could have been the start of that, but because we shut down before I was able to make it a national centre, I lost the ability to make it the national centre of beer and pubs in Britain. This is only a small reflection upon the world of brewing, and I hope it has been of some interest to you, and you might hear of me in the future, whether it's creating my own museum again, or some of my exhibits arriving in other museums. Bye bye.